Welcome to America's Day at the Races, round 2 of our coverage. Good to have you with us on Fox Sports 2. Live look overhead of Oaklawn Park in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Final 2 on the card coming up, including their Friday feature. Big weekend ahead with the Essex Handicap. Skippy Longstocking back in action. I'm Greg Wolf. With me on the desk, Maggie Wolfendale. Good to see you as we bring you this late double here from Hot Springs.
Yeah, looking forward to this late double, but also talking about the Essex Handicap. We also saw the fantasy draw happen earlier today, so we'll touch on that and give a little bit more of maybe an in-depth preview of the fantasy coming up for next weekend, which is their proverbial big weekend there in Hot Springs, which does include the Arkansas Derby on Saturday.
And we've got 2 Derby preps this weekend as well. Emerging market back in action for Chad Brown off a huge debut. We'll get out to our crew in Hot Springs, Megan, shortly. Show you what's ahead. Presented by Claiborne Farm. Races 9 and 10 at Oaklawn. Race 9, an allowance race. Non-winners of 2 lifetime, so maiden winners going 6 furlongs. Our colleague Tom Amos, who earlier this week announced his impending retirement. A couple month and a half or so. It's going to be sending out his final horses. But what a career. Incredible. 4,000 win club. And among those, there's only, I believe, 21 people with that many wins. Highest win percentage of any of them. He's had a tremendous run. So very happy for him. Still going to have a role in it. But he'll be sending out Invictus for the man he teamed up to win the Kentucky Oaks with, Joel Politi. You can play all the action at Naira Bets. Match 200, that code to use for new members and sign up. Get that $200 deposit match new customer bonus right there at nairabets.com.
And Invictus, of course, is Serengeti Empress's son.
Very nice. It all comes together. 2-1 hasn't quite had that kind of career yet.
No. He's not his mama. That's for sure. I mean, once upon a time, he was bought for $1.2 million by WinStar and China Horse Club as a yearling. Now, obviously, a private purchase for Joel Politi and Tom Amos 3 starts ago back in November, December. They did geld this horse, so we'll see if he can turn his life around at all. His last one was on the turf, so willing to forgive him for that.
Yeah, he's flashed some talent in his career. Yeah, just has not quite come together. Turf last time out, back to dirt today. Faust, though, looks like the one to beat right now. One of a couple in here for Steve Asmussen. Son Eric will be aboard. Let's look back to March the 1st, most recent effort. This race stamps him as certainly the one to beat.
And, of course, the winner here, Zero Sugar, would come back and win, too. Slight regression on the buyer, 98 to 96. But, you know, Faust was stalking in third contently. He moved to lead at the quarter pole, but he was no match for the winner, Zero Sugar. He did hang a bit here, Greg, which I wasn't in love with, but on the flip side of that coin, it was a fast race.
Zero Sugar.
In raging form.
Incredible in that performance. Was very good again yesterday. Let's head out to Hot Springs right now. Check in with Richie Migliori and Megan Burgess.
Yeah, thanks. Good to see you guys. Got nice and breezy out.
Yeah.
It kind of cooled off nicely, even though I'm not going back to the jacket just yet.
No, I wouldn't either. It's too nice of a day. But we've got a nice little late double going on over here. And as they mentioned, Invictus will try to kind of wick up a bit off of that turf form. It seems he just hasn't quite figured it all the way out, but he did show some talent early on.
Doesn't he land in a spot, though, that potentially he's the speed of the speed?
He could be. Minnie's Gritty will be forward. I'd imagine the likes of Camp Evans could be up there tracking as well, but he does break from the inside, and this is the first time he's ever done so.
I'm a little bit surprised. The board opened up. Middy's Gritty, the 7, is 6-5 right off the jump.
Yeah, he's taking a drop in class for Chris Hartman, who's 26% the past 5 years here at Oaklawn Park. Doing so, I have my doubts, though. I don't love his recent races.
Well, he is coming back as a gelding. Maybe he's training in a fashion that is going to warrant that kind of support, but I really think the path to the winner's circle is through number 3, Faust from the Steve Asmussen barn. He also has Innovator, who has just not been leaving the gate, has not been breaking whatsoever.
Right, and the thing about Faust is he has always been a horse I've never known quite what to do with. He's interesting because sometimes, you know, he goes long, he goes short, or excuse me, he's gone long, two back, and I thought maybe he would be more interesting routing, but he really came alive last time out against some talented foes. As mentioned, Zero Sugar came back to win that race with a 96 Beyer speed figure earned yesterday in that allowance group. So he certainly has the class right now, but it does seem to be an outlier last out for Faust on paper.
Well, they've only have one win in their career, guys. One will have two by the sundown today. A very interesting feature coming up.
Yeah, we'll get back to it in just a little bit. I thought he had some other races that
he does
kind of backed up.
He
kind
does.
Of who he is last time out.
Back on November 27th at Churchill, absolutely. He's proven that he doesn't want to go longer, so forgive him for 2 starts back. And then, you know, maybe he's a horse that ultimately needs LASIK, so that could have been his excuse 3 starts ago. And then he gets back to the same race that he ran last time. So the situation is there for him to capitalize on that. I don't get Mitty's gritty. Maybe he's been training well since they gelded him first off the claim, but he was unable to win for trainer Brad Cox, dropping to that non-2 for 30. So why are we supposed to like him? Now, maybe he didn't appreciate the wet track. It was his first time on it, and it was a race that was dominated towards the front end. But to take him, I feel like at a short price just seems a little silly, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting to see
change.
the Will Pay show up. I can't imagine he's going to be close to that price at post time. Faust has now become the favorite.
Yeah.
We'll check back on this in a moment. We're going to take a timeout. Draw happened earlier today for the Fantasy Final Prep in Hot Springs for the Kentucky Oaks. Explora, winner of the Honeybee, draws the outside post for Bob Baffert. Flavian Pratt, search party will get another chance at her. She gets the rail. We'll have a preview when we come back.
Rachel Alexandra, one of the greatest fillies ever to race at Oakland, is giving us a spectacular performance in the Fantasy. Rachel Alexandra, a great filly, winning the Fantasy by 8 lengths.
Swiss Skydiver, Venetian Harbor, and Swiss Skydiver is going to run away and win the Fantasy.
Torpedo Anna is back in business off the layoff, and she is a dominant winner of the Fantasy. Kentucky Oaks, you bet. Quiet Side digging in. She's got a half-length lead, and she has the Fantasy victory.
List of past winners of the Fantasy 54th edition coming up next Friday. We just had the draw earlier in the program, and obviously Explora will be entering in very strong form.
She will be. She is so much the horse to beat here as we'll take a look back at her Honeybee Grade 3 performance. And Greg, she projected to be forward, though we did see a long shot kind of go out in front of her, but she rated so comfortably just outside of that horse. And she was able, to put the rest of the field to bed. But I will say, counting stars, she definitely rebounded after her Martha Washington abomination.
Huge bounce back effort. Everyone kind of written her off.
Yeah.
And yeah, just a no-show effort the race prior. She's back, and yeah, she's a real challenger.
But she's given us 2 duds. Yes, in the Myrtlewood at Keeneland as a 2-year-old, you could say she had some traffic woes, but she still was a short price, and she did no running. She did no running in that Martha Washington as a heavy favorite. It's in her to throw those duds in. You just don't know when you're going to see them because you can't really come up with an excuse, especially for that Martha Washington. I thought, well, maybe she doesn't like being inside. They kind of kept her outside in that Honeybee, but in the Martha Washington, she was about 2 to 3 wide the entire way around there.
As for her stablemate, Search Party, do you see any scenario where she turns the tables on Explora?
Greg, I know this is another 1 1/16. I still wonder how far she ultimately wants to go. She won that Martha Washington at this distance, but still, I just feel like we're pushing her to her outer limits. She is a gun runner, so there's pedigree, but when you look at her, she is a bit more shorter coupled, and she had a good trip here in the Honeybee. She just was 4th best this day. So as we look back at her victory here in the Martha Washington, so I don't know. I don't think she's definitely as good as Explora. And is she as good as their stablemate on her best day?
Yeah, it's at this point seemingly not. We'll see. It can always take a step forward. See what happens next Friday as we sort of wait for some. Explorer's been very good, but still not one that's kind of
stamped herself as a standout.
No, there's no big standout in this whole division.
There isn't. I mean, I was hoping that she'd get maybe a little bit of a faster figure for that Honeybee effort because physically, she's really impressive. I mean, she's just a tank, and she moves really well. So she's still going to have to step up and run faster in this Fantasy.
See if she'll be able to do it. She gets the outside post. Search Party will get the rail. Let's get to today's late double coming up. Race 9, again, 6 furlong sprint. In this allowance now, winners of 2 spot. Live look in the paddock. Let's go to Megan.
And your favorite, the number 3 of Faust, certainly looks formidable physically. I think he looks best in this group. But I will start with the number 2, Innovator, the other Steve Asmussen trainee in this spot, as he comes back off of a dismal performance, taking those blinkers off. And Innovator, to me, I've seen him in some of his past races. He's very fit. He looks great. He's kind of longer in his mid-body, but he doesn't have a whole lot of leg. And you can see through his form lines, they wanted to route him, try to get him on the Derby Trail perhaps, and it just didn't quite work out when he was still in the care of the late, great Wayne Lucas. But I thought he looked great today. He's kind of one of those outside horses that's getting back to the dirt. I think the 5.5 2 back was a little sharp for him there at Remington Park, and you're getting a price on a horse that is a closer type, and we'll see how the speed materializes for him. I thought he looked great in the paddock. We shall see if he can and turned the tables, but I do think his stablemate, the number 3 Faust, currently 6-5, is quite formidable in this spot, as he is one that comes off that really strong performance against the likes of Zero Sugar and Senior Officer, both highly talented horses that have improved in the likes of Zero Sugar, as we've mentioned, and he's just typical Faust. He's sharp. He's actually a bit sharper than what I've seen from him in the past. Typically, he's a really cool customer, really cool horse to be around in the barn. Today, he's very attuned, very sharp, but very much collected, almost as if that energy, though, is bubbling underneath. He is strong. He is fit. He is typical Faust and continue to improve, particularly with that last race. I don't have any issues with him, but the number 7 Middy's Gritty, I do have a little bit of an issue with at a short price. I just think that he's very vulnerable in this spot, and I wonder, last time out when he was in for 32 here at Oaklawn, he was carrying some extra condition, some extra weight. He is a petite, smaller framed son of Matoli. I think that gelding was necessary to lighten this horse up. My problem, though, Greg, I'm not quite sure how much it did at the end of the day.
And I just don't see a race where he's anywhere near fast enough to be anything close to that price.
Is it Chris Hartman money? But he claimed this horse from Brad Cox. And, to be fair, Brad Cox isn't necessarily a trainer you can't claim off of. But I don't get it. And to Megan's point, a lot of times, they need a start, especially when they're coming back, in the month, a little more than a month, since that gelding, for it to really take hold. So you're not going to see, the physical results from taking that equipment away. So I still am scratching my head. Watch, I'll probably win by like 5 lengths.
There's Invictus rolling through the screen, 8-1 all of a sudden on Invictus for the Tom Amos barn from the inside. We'll be back with a post parade. Eric Asmussen warms up as he gets set to ride the favorite Faust for Dad coming up.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Look at these two juveniles going at it, and it is Forte.
It is Forte in front. Forte on to victory here in the Grade 1 hopeful.
The two of them coming down to the wire. Forte on the outside, and Forte to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Forte starts to gather in the top horses. This is going to be very close, but the champion prevails. Forte wins.
Get ready for the biggest races from the Sunshine State. Join Naira Bets handicapper Matthew DeSantis and Naira analyst Acacia Clement for Snowbirds. Picks and valuable insight for upcoming warm weather stakes races. That and more on the Naira Bets YouTube channel. The Belmont Stakes Racing Festival returns for the final time to historic Saratoga Racecourse. Don't miss the Belmont Festival at Saratoga. June 3rd through 7th. Secure your place in history at BelmontStakes.com.
Back with you on our Friday coverage on Fox Sports 2. Post parade coming up from Oaklawn's featured ninth on the card, the 6 furlong sprint, where Faust is your 6-5 favorite.
I get it. Comes in with the fastest race of any of these last time out. Isn't the winningest type, though, Greg. That is my biggest problem with him. 1 for 14 with 7 thirds.
Here is, and we know these colors, Mom wore him well, winning the Kentucky Oaks and the Ballerina.
And we have established he is not Mom. Invictus with Serengeti Empress as his dam. waiting for that gelding to take hold on him.
Innovator, 1 of 2 for the Steve Asmussen barn.
Takes the blinkers off after he dwelt at the start last time out at Sam Houston.
It's Eric, though, who gets the favorite for Dad.
As Meg said, he is sharp today. You can see it in the post parade.
Dark Vector, Michael Hewitt barn.
He looks a little overmatched in this spot, Greg, going from a non-2 for 16, where he was beaten.
Rider change on Camp Evans, Ronnie Huckabee, 2 starts back. That was a good effort at Oaklawn.
Yeah, and, last time it was a big field and maybe just got lost in the mix.
Money's still there on Mitty's Gritty.
First time gelding, first time for the Chris Hartman barn, but he's going to have to step up and run better than he did in his last 2.
And Rowdy Riot will make his 5-year-old debut for Randy Morse.
Yeah, he comes off of a layoff. He has run some races that do make him competitive here, and he comes out of a race at Churchill where Stiglitz, the runner-up, he will return with a 107 buyer in his next.
Keith and Eric Asmussen riding for Dad here. They have the 6-5 favorite Faust, Innovator next door, the 2 at 9-1. Let's go to Mig.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Team Asmussen, I'm so pleased to be joined by Steve. Steve, you have 2 in here. Innovator hasn't been getting out of the gate very well recently, but I noticed you put in 2 pretty good gate works from him. What did you see from those morning trials that maybe encourage you?
Well, he definitely quit leaving the gates on us. Dwelt, almost refused last time. Since then, walked him through an open gate for a couple of weeks there. Closed him up, come out of it. Took the blinkers off. No head man, kind of just following the man's hand and see how he goes today. But like you said, we had a decent gate work, came back, thought he had a little better one. A lot of talent there, but he's definitely in his own head.
What do you think kind of leads a horse to, not leaving the gate on time at points in their career?
I think that we sometimes we're not doing right by them, and they start taking care of themselves in that regard. The horse has had some very tough spots in the past. Obviously, didn't like my placement and took things into his own hands.
Well, now you've also got Faust, who looks very, very formidable here. Looks very sharp. You trained his father, Valto, who was a very, very fast individual. What kind of trip would you like to see for him?
Very similar. I think the racetrack's playing to his strengths. He doesn't generally have a very good first jump, but Eric knows him well, gets him into the race. I think anything close to his last race will be good enough for today.
Steve, what an incredible career that you have and continue to have, but how satisfying is it to have both your sons, Keith and Eric, who I think are both riding in tremendous form. Keith coming back off injury, really kind of finding himself. What's the sense of pride like?
It's an immense sense of pride. They've been a part of the barn, their whole entire lives and what they've picked up. I think both of them are extremely intelligent, great horsemen, and I think what they'll end up doing with their careers will embarrass mine.
Well, they got a ways to go, but that's what all parents want, better for their children. Yeah. You're doing a great job, and I'm really enjoying watching it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Good luck. Guys, Team Asmussen hitting on all cylinders.
It's got to be so much. I mean, just an incredible experience to be able to do this, what you love, with your 2 sons.
How did Steve ever ride races?
That is amazing, isn't it?
Richie is tall for a jockey, and Richie's like looking up at him. So it is amazing. I mean, Eric and Keith are not short either, so they do a fabulous job. And they're so immersed in it. They're so horsemen. That's they can't escape it, but they fully embrace it.
And every time we hear from them too, we've done feature stories on. They're so enthusiastic about the game.
Oh yeah, totally. It's funny. Keith, typical kind of first child, quiet, soft-spoken, very mature and professional. And Eric is the total jokester. But he loves it. I remember several summers in Saratoga, him, chatting outside the barn, coming and talking in the paddock, and literally just wanting to discuss a race. Not necessarily his dad's horse, but all the other horses that he thought maybe could beat them.
Now here's Eric on the 1 to beat to 4-5 now. So public strongly behind this one. I agree with the public here. Yeah. I mean, much the horse to beat.
Absolutely. I want to see Invictus run well here for Tommy Amos, because obviously it feels as though there should be potential. And I also thought that the 8 on the outside, Rowdy Riot, just because he's he's held some good company in the past that looking at his work tab that Randy Morris has him training well to this comeback effort, and maybe he kind of sits the right trip, just posted outside some of the speed, but then again, there's really not that much speed, so maybe it draws him into the race a bit more, which could be a good thing.
Let's go back to Hot Springs.
Yeah, guys, thanks. Yeah, just to follow up, too. I actually rode with Steve when he had the bug in New York. Obviously rode with Cash before that. We were Eclipse Award winners a year apart. And I was the center on the jockey basketball team until the Asmussen boys showed up.
Oh, they kicked you out?
No, just they could slam dunk on me. I mean, that's the way it is. But it's fun to watch it. I think one of the greatest racing families in North America, the Asmussen family. And they've got Faust, who looks very formidable here, Megan. I just feel like something unlucky has to happen for Faust to lose here.
I do too, but this is horse racing, and at the end of the day, he's a horse that, has mentioned that going all the way back to November, he does have the races, but he lacks the initiative sometimes to get to the winner's circle. This is his 15th start. He's shown he always runs. It's not as if he ever runs a bad race. He's just one of those horses that doesn't necessarily get his picture taken. And last time out, he stalked off as we mentioned, some pretty formidable company under a hold, and then kind of made that move with Horace at the 3/4. And honestly, just couldn't run down horses that we're beginning to understand are really talented potential stakes types.
Zero Sugar come back with, backed up that performance last time with another big performance yesterday. They've got the two Innovator, who just has been on the cusp of not leaving the starting gate at all. I like the fact they took this horse down to Houston. They worked him twice out of the gate. Steve just said he felt like the second work out of the gate was better than the first. And it's interesting. Usually once horses learn their gate lessons, it's rare for them to go back for refresher courses.
Yeah.
But maybe this is a refresher course they needed.
And he does tend to do that with horses. And Innovator, as he kind of mentioned, alluded that he gave Darren and Steve a workout in there late. He was totally cool, calm, and collected the whole time. And then when they went to get his halter off, he just didn't seem to want any part of it. But his two-back effort, I think, puts him in the mix underneath as he kind of gets away from those turf tries. And I do think that overall, he's shown to be versatile, but I think of him as a dirt horse, Meg. I'm not sure about you, but that's just my impression of him. He doesn't look overly turfman either.
Well, I was here last year when he ran so well in the Lecomte, and then, things started to go a little bit sideways. Now, Steve's had him for a little while. I like the measures they're taking to try to get him to leave the gate in better fashion. Spoke with Keith Asmussen earlier today, and he asked me my advice, and I said, I would try him without a handler, nobody in the gate with him.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're better off. Sometimes horses, even if they don't show it out, will get a little preoccupied with the handler, and you're better off handling them yourselves, and they get away a little bit cleaner. But we'll find out soon enough about that. What about Invictus? Into Mischief out of Tom Amos's champion, Serengeti Empress. This is a horse that I believe from the inside has to be the speed.
Right. I do think he's going to have company from perhaps a horse like a Middy's Gritty, who I do think will be up there with him, and Camp Evans, who will be forward. I think he'll be right there. Don't get me wrong. It's just a tough trip to negotiate. But at the same time, last time out, we've mentioned we want to kind of forgive that turf effort. They're just trying things. I don't want to say grasping at straws because his horse has had talent, but you kind of see them throwing different ideas at the board to see what will wake a horse up. He's always been flashy. They paid $1.2 million for him for a reason, and he looks perfectly fine. It's tough, especially just going through his form lines, but at the end of the day, 3 back right here at Oaklawn Park, when I got to see him, I think that he actually did not run badly whatsoever against that group. He just seems to flatten out when it really matters.
Well, if I was riding Invictus, I'd try to ride him like the way his mom ran. It certainly worked for her. Sometimes some horses are better going faster than slower. They maintain their pace doggedly. They don't change gears. Well, we've talked him into the starting gate. We've got opinions. The horse will have the answers, and we'll have them in just a few minutes, guys, as we send the call up to Matt Dinnerman.
Middy's Gritty in the yellow. 2 back, the gray Faust, and Rowdy Riot to round out the field. Rowdy Riot to the outside post. We're ready to go. And they're off. Good dispatch for all. Invictus sent for speed, pumped upon in the early stages. So is Innovator. Innovator's got ahead in front. Invictus will take a hold and track right behind here, a half length back early. Faust in third. Camp Evans to the outside of him. Middy's Gritty, Rowdy Riot there together. Dark Vector down on the fence. He's 6 off the pace down the back stretch. Innovator clearing off from Invictus, who's a length behind now. Second, Faust moving level with him. Joins second. Camp Evans 3 deep, approaching the forward turn. Then comes Middy's Gritty. He's pumped upon. So is Rowdy Riot. 5 from the lead. 2 clear of Dark Vector as they round the forward turn. Innovator, narrow lead on his stablemate Faust, right up alongside the favorite, and the 2 Asmussen trainees kick away by 2. Invictus into third. Camp Evans calls it a day. Rowdy Riot in an all-out drive. He's getting outside, caught about 5 wide coming off the turn. Faust pounces on Innovator, grabs the lead. Invictus chasing hard, but Faust has plenty of run approaching the furlong pole. He's clear by 3 as he's opened up, giving him the slip, and Faust is running away from the competition in a big effort. He's opened up 7 coming to the line. Faust, Eric Asmussen in a romp. Invictus was second. Good battle for third. Got pretty tight there between Innovator, Dark Vector, and then Camp Evans.
No doubt about who was best in this spot, Megan. Faust just ran 109 flat, kicked away from his field rather nicely, and felt like he won with a little something left.
He did, and just best of this group. Innovator broke today. We both looked at each other. He got to the front end. He was more aggressive, but just at the end of the day, wasn't quite enough to catch his stablemate.
Now, it was a big step forward, though, for Innovator, raking from the gate sharply, but Faust always poised, moving like a winner, and drew away at will. Guys, that was a pretty impressive performance from Faust.
More than half, well, not more than half his starts coming in had been third-place finishes, just one win from 14 starts. This is close to some of the fastest 6 furlong sprints we've seen this whole meet.
This was a coming out party for Faust. He finally breaks through this A other than condition in style. And at the end of the day, Steve Asmussen has to be really happy with the outcome of this race, because not only did Faust destroy this field like he was projected to do, probably one more impressively than maybe we would have suspected, he got Innovator to break again. Like, usually when horses start doing that, they don't stop. And he broke, and pretty much broke on top. I think he ended up 3rd or 4th in the end.
Yeah, Invictus actually ran okay to run second, but it was a very distant second in here. No doubt about your winner. This was impressive from Faust. 109 flat. And career win just number 2 from 15 tries. But the last 2 starts, this has sort of been, at least a turnaround project here horse. He's been different for Steve Asmussen.
Yeah, like we said, 2 and 3 back. I think you could come up with excuses, distance, Lasix. And before that, 4 back, he ran a race fast enough to win. Last time he ran a race fast enough to win. And he definitely ran fast enough today, Greg. I mean, this was definitely his best performance to date.
We will have these prices when we come back. We still have the nightcap to come on this Friday card. We'll look ahead to the weekend as well. Grade 3 Essex Handicap. 1 1/8, and Skippy back in action, trying to keep things rolling as a 7-year-old and win his 3rd graded stakes in a row for Saffie Joseph Jr. back with you. I want to try it so bad here on America's Day at the Races.
That's not fair. It's dinner time.
I know. I've never been to DeLuca's.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, it's a must every single time.
In your top 3 pizzas anywhere you've ever had? Top 5?
Yes.
Okay.
But it takes the top spot for the best cheeseburger I've ever had. Hands down.
Really?
Yep.
I'd have to do the pizza, though.
You can do both. It's just a little burger. We can split it, and then you can eat all the pizza you want.
I'm not scheduled to go out there for Oakland Handicap weekend, but I might just go as a fan.
Okay. I like that.
Faust, ultra impressed. 109.01 for the 6 furlongs. Eric Asmussen for Dad here. Winner Circle lead-in. Brought to you by Fasig Tipton Digital, North America's #1 digital platform for thoroughbreds. Learn more about our auction schedule at digital.fasigtipton.com. Let's get digital. $3.80 for the win. Let's go to Megan.
Always a pleasure catching up with the baby. I can't say that actually, no. Eric Asmussen here aboard of Faust, the youngest son of Steve Asmussen, as mentioned. But boy, I mean, really putting it together at Oakland, and that was just impressive what he was able to put together. Much the best in this group.
Absolutely. I really liked his chances today. Couldn't be prouder of him. He's such a hard-knocking horse. He doesn't miss too many dances. He hasn't had a break, but he's just so consistent, and I knew he could finally win one today. So to win one with him, and he's been trying so hard and just been not quite there, it was awesome.
What's it like in your mind when your brother broke and went forward, and then you've got Horse Adam kind of taking a peek at him there at the quarter pole like you did? What's in your brain?
I knew I was a little better suited today than my brother, and it's a good feeling to have a lot of horse, but I was really happy to be put in a good position and just win with Faust.
And me and Richie have been talking about this all meet, just about your confidence and your progression, how you've really grown as a rider, but also in the way that you've been seeing the races play out and being so reactive. What have you learned to be able to continue to develop doing that as things play out in a millisecond's time?
Just trying to learn from every situation, every single horse, be confident and not be afraid to make a mistake. Just go out there and just do what I believe in wholeheartedly and accept the consequences if it doesn't go my way.
Well said. Congrats here, Eric.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Eric with yet another victory, and that was an impressive one aboard Faust.
Knew he was on the best horse, and it's nice to have that confidence going into a race. It's been fun to watch him evolve, though, as a rider.
He's lying. It's all about the hair.
The hair gives him power, too, doesn't it?
It gives him wings, certainly. But, no, it's been so fun to watch Eric just progress as a rider, as a person, and he's hard not to like.
Echo those sentiments. Yeah, I mean, I love hearing every time we get an interview with him.
Yeah.
It's fun to hear.
Yeah.
And it's got to be a thrill, too, going up against his brother. We got the nightcap still to come. Of course, big weekend ahead at Oakland with the Essex Handicap. Sit up race 10, though, real quick. 6 furlong sprint, claiming race. 4-year-olds and up who have not won a race since November 20th of last year. And wide open betting group, as you can see here on the board. The 7 right now is the slight favorite, one of several on the board at 7-2.
Eric aboard for Dad, number 4, Kunshin Bridge. He's one of our old friends around here.
Yeah.
Greg, we know him well on the Naira circuit. He's actually a reclaim for Steve as owner and trainer.
All right, more on that field coming up. Saturday, as mentioned, Grade 3 Essex Handicap, mile and an eighth, $500,000 purse. Yeah. And Skippy's been doing this for a while, hasn't he?
My guy.
$1 million, almost $5.5 million in earnings.
I'm sorry, say what you want about Skippy, but he's one of my true homies. Like, he just shows up, dances every dance. He's a horse. You don't often see intact horses running for this long a time. I know there's not much pedigree. I get it. So he's not that valuable as a stallion, but he's valuable as a racehorse. And hats off to Safi Joseph and his team and ownership for keeping him around, because it's quite clear he loves this as he comes in off the back of his biggest win to date in the Grade 1 Pegasus World Cup Invitational.
Yeah, I guess the knock on him, he'd never really shown up on the big stage.
Right.
This is his first Grade 1 of his career. And he finally did.
I mean, he kind of knocked on the door last year. He was third in it behind his stablemate, White Abario, who, of course, he beat right there as well. And he finishing second. And at the end of the day, he comes to Oaklawn, which is a place that he has shown and proven to have success, winning the Oaklawn Handicap back in 2024. He did run third in it last year. But I think Skippy's going to be pretty tough in this spot, Greg.
Much the horse to beat. He's 4 to 5 morning line. Megan, can he keep things going in the Essex?
It sure feels like he can to me, Greg. I agree with Maggie. You know, he's just such a classy individual, shows up. I mean, he's been consistent for so long now. When I first looked at the race, Megan, I'm going, there's not a tremendous amount of speed in here. Is that maybe make him vulnerable? But he's versatile. He can lay up close if he needs to.
You really do anything with him, and he's proven that with his incredible record as we take a look at just the bankroll, he's amassed over $5.4 million, and doing so the hard way, Mig. Those grade 2, grade 3s just stacking up. He's well-traveled, well-seasoned, and as Maggie alluded to, he is a racehorse.
Yeah, and watching him train here, I watched him gallop the last 2 days here at Oaklawn Park, and he was aggressive but contained, meaning, you know, you don't want to see a horse overblown, maybe trying to do too much, almost like to get it over with. He was just focused really into his work.
This wasn't plan A for them. He did not necessarily want to get on the flight to the big cap. Then they considered leaving him at home in Florida, and then they decided to come here at the last minute with Micah Husbands aboard, a fellow Barbadian. They're all from Barbados, as well as his trainer, Safi Joseph Jr., who will ride at Oaklawn for the very first time. So he's got quite the mount on his hands this upcoming weekend.
That's a pressure-packed situation. A rider has to deliver. I think Skippy Longstocking didn't want to get on the plane because he heard about my trials and tribulations getting back to Oaklawn on Delta last week. He said, no, I'm not sitting on no tarmac for 6 or 7 hours.
I'm not the best flyer either, Skippy. So usually I have to be asleep, or someone can just, keep me company, but I think he's going to be very formidable. Accelerized to me, though, is going to be that speedster for Todd Pletcher, scratching out of the New Orleans Classic to land here. Will provide him some pace up front, kind of the newcomer and the new face in this group.
But just like a completely opposite profile than Skippy Longstocking, only making his 6th career start. He has speed. He's shown the ability to fight. He's going to have to run faster because I think he's jumping into the deep end of the pool.
I do believe that. And listen, guys, if Skippy runs back to that Pegasus World Cup, we know he loves Gulfstream. He's going to be so tough, and he certainly puts forth some really impressive performances right here at Oaklawn Park.
It ought to be a fun one, guys. We're looking forward to it.
And they touched on, his main challenger is Accelerized, who's going to try and steal this race on the front end.
Yeah, and I do think he was with the racetrack back on February 14th at the fairgrounds. Definitely paid to have speed on that Risen Star Day. But, he was defeated by Hit Show, who is a nice horse in his own right, of course, for Brad Cox. And I just, I start to wonder, how far does this horse want to go? Is 1 1/8 going to be stretching him to his outer limits? And, on a more fair racetrack, are we going to see the same performance? Take nothing away from him. He hasn't done too much wrong in his career. He's never been off the board in those 5 career starts. But facts are facts. Not that the waters necessarily get deeper here, but I think we'll see a more fairly run race.
San Siro, outside post for Brendan Walsh, comes off that win at Oaklawn. 92 Beyer speed figure, up there with one of the better races he's ever run. Still, though, if Skippy shows up with his best race, he's going to need to make a big jump forward, isn't he?
Absolutely, exactly. Now, I thought it was good points by Meg about Skippy. This kind of is like plan C. So do you worry about that a little bit in the preparations for Skippy Longstocking? Could that have an ill effect on him shipping into Oaklawn? But San Siro does seem to be heading in the right direction. He's tried to play with a lot of the big boys in some tough graded stakes and has run okay in them. But now, as they've kind of taken a little bit of a step back and refocused him as he steps back into graded stakes company, he's coming in with better form than what we've seen from him in those previous efforts.
First try at Oaklawn, impressive enough, but it's going to need a little bit better. Maybe he will step up. 5-year-old son of Classic Empire
We have to mention the New York bred, don't we? A little bit.
Okay.
Doc Sullivan.
Okay.
You don't think he has a shot?
What do you think?
Well, I don't think he's as good around 2 turns.
Yeah, that's the issue, I think. Yeah.
That's the biggest issue. But he's run the fast enough races.
He's exciting, though.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're taking a shot.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Right?
For John Ortiz, Ricardo Santana Jr. will be on, Doc Sullivan, the New York bred, trying to go he actually ran good at a mile and 8 the only time he really tried it.
He just doesn't win.
Finale coming up from Oakland when we come back. Steve Asmussen trying to take this late double. We'll see you on the other side of the break for the post-parade from this finale when we come back.
Excelling on a cross of New York turf and Kentucky bluegrass. A 6-time graded stakes winner, including the Grade 1 4-Star Dave, Grade 1 Turf Mile, and the Grade 1 Maker's Mark Mile by leading champion European sire, Lope de Vega. So he's got that going for him. Carl Spackler, the ultimate greenskeeper, standing at Lane's End.
Oaklawn Park next weekend. Friday, join Lafitte Pinkai, Maggie Wolfendale, and team for the Fantasy Stakes at Kentucky Oaks Prep. And then Saturday, the Arkansas Derby. Oaklawn Park's signature prep race to earn a berth to start in the Kentucky Derby.
And we're off in the Arkansas Derby.
Live from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Great racing kicks off Friday, 1:30 Eastern. Saturday, 1 Eastern on FS2.
Mind-tingling, jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring, secretariat-like.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
On June 6, 2019, a new chapter began at Xalapa when Hillendale transferred its operations to the famed Kentucky Station and Thoroughbred Nursery in Paris, Kentucky, on a farm that traces its origins to 1827.
We're trying to be progressive, thoughtful, and respectful to what's already been here, the intent of the farm, along with trying to become efficient and modern.
The 1,400-acre Xalapa is driven by its owner John Sikura's passion to return the landmark farm to its original glory. The extensive restoration includes building a brand new breeding shed out of stone and concrete matching the training barn that's been converted to be a stallion barn and now houses a roster of world-class stallions. Hillendale also built 8 new barns, plus adding landscaping and building tens of miles of fence, plus adding roads and utilities. Sikura appreciates the daily inspiration the farm gives him.
There's the ruins of an old dairy barn, which is it's like a beautiful relic. It's peaceful and quiet. There's waterfall ponds behind the house, behind the office. There's many unique, peaceful, great parts of the farm that create peace and a sense of understanding where you are and how unique the farm is.
Sikura is now focused on making new history at Xalapa.
When you think of all that living history, it makes you respectful of the barn and who's been housed there, and then also a responsibility of trying to keep that same standard and try to move it forward and be historic in what we do, so that when someone would look back 50 years from now, they have a feeling of obligation for them to do the same here.
Back in our Friday coverage, our program brought to you in part by Hillendale at Xalapa as we get set for this nightcap from Oaklawn, 7 minutes to post. to close things out before we look ahead to the weekend, and we'll start our post-parade. Optimal Courage from the rail.
How can you not love a horse like Optimal Courage, Greg? He's an 8-year-old. He's had 56 starts, 20 wins, and has bankrolled nearly $315,000. He ran better, second off the layoff last time, but did so on the wrong lead when finishing up there. He's 10-1. He's got, he's an old class horse, so I'd be more than happy to see Optimal Courage win.
Sergeant Gump seems like a stretch. The 2 went by. Dazzle Me Silver, though, as a player.
We still got to do the turn.
Yeah,
the turn and burn.
It's all right.
That's all right. I really don't have much to say about Sergeant Gump. That's why I was.
I thought Finster. I'm surprised Finster is. Well, look, we've got 3 horses at 4-1. Probably can't decide.
Yeah.
I thought he deserved to be the one to beat.
He does run in an extension blinker, and he does like to get out. He actually ran pretty straight in his turf effort, but 2 starts back on the dirt in that 15 claimer at the fairgrounds, he got out pretty badly on the turn there, and allowed We Miss Arlington to wire the field. There.
Another look there at this veteran of veterans, 8-year-old.
He's cool.
He's won $314,000 in his career. Sergeant Gump, seems like a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, was beaten by the venerable Jackman last time out, but well beaten.
Dazzle Me Silver.
Does get a drop down in class here and has some races speckled into his form that would make him a major player.
Steve Asmussen with Eric. Contion Bridge, they look to take the late double.
With the reclaim for the Asmussen barn, was wired last time out as the beaten favorite.
Here's Finster, was on turf sprinting last start.
Yeah, he ships in from Fairgrounds for Chris Hartman. Like I said, has that serious extension blinker.
Turn back in distance for Lemon Drop Shot.
He has no early speed when going longer. How is he supposed to sprint?
Mumayaz, Ron Moquette barn.
He blew the start last time out. He's going to turn back in distance, which I think is the right call.
And One True Chance, 6-1 here. Francisco Arrieta.
He could be the speed of the speed if Francisco is aggressive from the gate.
And Swift As I Am draws in, but there's not a lot to love here.
There's not a lot to love. You have to go fishing for some good form, and most of it's been on the turf if you go back a ways. Though I will say, January 2nd, first start off a layoff, he was beaten by Guanare, who is a stakes winner once upon a time. So, I don't know. Does he really love the dirt? Yet to be determined.
All right, let's go back to Finster.
Let's go back to Finster.
3 for 13 lifetime, was most recently sprinting on turf. And
see, he's going to drift out here. And I get, trying to go wide, but he, the jock's really going to have to try to keep him in with that right-handed encouragement. And he's going to respond fine. But this is, We Miss Arlington's a great horse, right? Yes. He's going to be, just outgained here because he wants to lean out consistently through the stretch. Is that going to be a hindrance to him here today? But this is arguably, you could say, the cheapest he's ever run. And he looks good physically.
4-1 right now. Coast's second choice on the board as we go back to Megan.
Yeah, I thought this might have been the handicapping conundrum of the day, Megan. It just seems like it's so competitive. And Maggie's talked about it too. The one horse, Optimal Courage. You gotta love a horse like this. 20 for 56 lifetime. Definitely seems like he's done his best running on the turf, though, with that pedigree too. He's out of an English by an English Channel sire, out of a Kitten's Joy mare, so a lot of turf pedigree there. But I like the 3-horse a little here. Dazzle Me Silver. I like the drop to the $10,000 level. I just think he's in a much more competitive spot today, and I loved his appearance on the racetrack.
He looked fantastic. He's kind of a bigger sort. He was almost Matt's Shire's horses always look good, but they also love the feed tub, and he is more tucked up than the last couple of times I've seen him here at Oaklawn. So, but he is a bigger sort that certainly is a good doer, as we like to call them. But this horse has the back races that we've kind of talked about that just is better than these horses. So I think you're getting a fair price on a horse as such, and I like him in this group as well, Meg. You can easily build a case for this horse on the drop-in class.
He does have to find some of that back form. Last couple of races maybe leave a bit to be desired, but I think the drop-in class will help facilitate that. Contion Bridge, the Asmussen barn, first time off the Asmussen claim. looks awesome as well, and just really well turned out in the flesh.
He does, as Steve does a great job, and now first off the claim, does well in those situations as well. My problem with this horse is that I just didn't find he did any running last time out, and he's taking money as the connections would. He's 4-1 right now. I just would not take anywhere near that price based off of his last effort against Weaker, where he was, to me, default. He just didn't do a whole lot of running that day as Love to Win dominated that group. And listen, I liked him last time out, and it's encouraging that Steve obviously claimed him. I'm not quite sure now on the jump-in tag if he fits for me at a shorter price in this field.
Okay, well, the 7-horse, Mumayez. Me and you are having a little bit of a debate here. I thought that the 8, One True Chance would be the main speed. You think Mumayez potentially could be?
I think so. Just kind of trying to judge what the jockeys are going to do, because they both have very similar early pace speed figures. So we shall see. I'm thinking Ramon will be a little bit more aggressive with horse, due in part to the fact that he's been shuffled behind in his last few starts, and he really seems to come alive when he is more aggressive, when he is more in front and on the front end and a part of that early pace. I'd take his last race out here on the wet sealed track, and you go back through his form, and I like him here, as does many of you, the betting public, taking some money there for Ron Moquette, and I'm hoping that he gets aggressive. He looked great dropping in class, now cutting back in distance.
Ron Moquette's barn really coming to life here and takes a meaningful drop in class. The 8, One True Chance. I'll stand by it. I'm going to say I think he's going to be the one that winds up in front here. Francisco Arietti's usually aggressive. First time on the Cantermachi claim.
Yeah, and he's just a horse that I saw him for really the first time. I don't believe we covered the 2-back race last time out, which seemed like yesterday. Time going by so quickly. And he just, again, him and Conscience Bridge, I didn't quite want to use anybody out of that group. The winner was just way the best in that group, and now he's jumping up in tag. And he also doesn't really look like a cheap claimer. He's honestly a pretty good-looking 4-year-old son of Chancelot. So he looks great, but at the same time, I'm not quite sure what type of run he's going to have today. And I agree with you, though. He's going to be a part of the pace. We'll see if he's directly in front or probably just off of it. We'll see how it shakes out.
Okay, guys, we're going to hand off the saddle bags to you guys. Let you take it the rest of the way. That's it from me and Megan here from Oaklawn Park. Always great working with you, Greg and Maggie, albeit even from afar.
They're leaving?
Sad.
Wow.
I'm sad. I don't want them to leave us. I found it interesting, their pace discussion. Who do you think?
I think One True Chance should be on the lead, no question, right?
He is naturally faster, and I always worry about a horse turning back in distance, that kind of dulls their speed.
Yeah.
And I get what she's saying about Ramon, and he has the inside of that horse, so maybe his hand is forced. But Mumayez, he looked good on the track. From what I could see, last time I saw him, he was actually a late scratch back in April, and then he was a voided claim coming back, but it seems as though he's regained some of his form.
I thought if someone else was going to be close, it'd be the 3. Pressuring
3, yes.
One True Chance.
Hopefully he just sits right off of them, because I like him.
3-1 favorite is the 8 for the Matt Cantermachi barn. Francisco Arietta aboard. Let's go to Matt Dinnerman for the nightcap.
The outside, swift as I am to round out the group. 11 races tomorrow, first post 12:30. We'll see you then. But for now, enjoy this finale. Not quite ready to go. Mumayez popped open the front of his stall. Did not go out of the gate, though. They're going to close the gate back up, and then we should be ready for a start. Tomorrow, our feature, the Grade 3 Essex Handicap, $500,000, featuring the Pegasus winner, Skippy Longstocking. We're ready, and we're off. In the finale, from the inside, Optimal Courage sent hard for speed, and the Old Pros got the lead now. Dazzle Me Silver right behind. Optimal Courage scoots a length and a tail ahead. Dazzle Me Silver in the second spot. One True Chance right outside of him now. Finster between that pair easing off. He's only a length and a half behind as the top 3 pretty much together now. The gray Dazzle Me Silver takes back, and One True Chance makes a dash to challenge Optimal Courage on the front end. We come back to Mumayez. He's 5 lengths off the lead in the 5th position, sailing into the forward turn run. 2 clear of Swift as I Am, and Kunshan Bridge, who's come under a ride. Big space back to Lemon Drop Shot, Sergeant Gump as they round the far turn. Optimal Courage back in the third now. One True Chance has got a short lead, but Finster's confidently handled by David Cabrera, just a neck behind on the throat latch of One True Chance at the top of the stretch. One True Chance, the favorite, leads the way. Finster, reins get shaken at him. These two together with 1 furlong to go. Finster's got ahead in front. One True Chance game for the fight from the inside, but Finster still has an upper hand here with a 16th to go. One True Chance not going away under the left-handed encouragement. One True Chance, Finster, it's going to be tight. It's a photo finish on the outside. Maybe Finster, he got a good bob. Very tight between him, though, and One True Chance with Kunshan Bridge and Swift as I Am checking third and fourth.
Well, it looked like Finster put away One True Chance. That one battles back, but I do believe, I think we both do, that Finster got it in the end.
Yeah, an epic showdown between the first and second choice here. One True Chance actually had to beat the one to the lead. Couldn't do that, which was a bit of a surprise, but was forwardly placed, and Finster just, kind of biding his time, getting the right setup, proved to be best, ran very straight today, did not look to be getting out that badly. Had a bit of a battle on his hands, but nonetheless prevailed at 3-1.
Best of the bob, too.
Yeah.
Nose down at the right time. 110.08. So over a full second slower than what we just saw from Faust.
Which makes sense, AO then to a 10 claimer.
Chris Hartman, David Cabrera, JD Thoroughbreds to close things out here on this Friday card in Hot Springs. So 4 wins now, 14 tries. Finster, that's going to wrap up our Friday coverage. Back tomorrow. And again, the Essex, we look forward to it and see if Skippy can come up with a big performance.
Yeah, he's shown that he likes Oaklawn as well. And, I think we're kind of jumping around networks. Find us on FS1, FS2.
Yes.
A lot of things.
You might want to write down tonight, do some homework, because we are all over the place tomorrow. Actually, coverage, though, does begin. I'll tell you this. I know this much. We are on the air 1 Eastern, FS1 and FS2, both networks, from 1 to 1:55.
Double the trouble.
We're all over the place. So, yeah, check your local listings for the rest of the afternoon. But on 2:30 to 2:30, and then back 6 to 7:30.
God bless, Greg.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Faust, impressive. One of the faster 6 furlong sprints of the meet. Dominant by open lengths in the feature. Eric Asmussen for Dad. We will see Skippy Longstocking in the Grade 3 Essex tomorrow. He'll be the favorite, trying to make it 3 straight graded stakes wins. Off the short layoff for Saffy Joseph Jr., can Sansiro step up and get the better of Skippy? Graded stakes place, fine for his first graded stakes win. We'll be back tomorrow. See ya.